Bahashem Yahushai, Waha, Raha, Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you, I say shalom. Salutations to the hopefully elect, it's your brother Amraya. And more uproars of the people, more rioting and protests. All right. We are in the last seconds of the last days of this man's kingdom, this man being Esau Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white race that rules in the world today. And as his kingdom is coming to an end, more and more complaining is coming about protests, which are signs and indications of their own, their tokens of their own, okay? But this devil in these last days, as you see the turmoil and affliction and displeasure, you have to realize that peace has been taken from the earth, all right? And ultimately, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh's whom you ignorantly call God, and his son's name in the Paleo Hebrew, whom you ignorantly call Jesus, is Yahushai, all right? Now, ultimately, this is Yahweh's plan. However, implementation is being done by the Edomites, the so-called self-proclaimed white man that rules in the world today, okay? This is Revelation 6 and 4. It says, and there went out another horse, all right, that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, right? Now, who is this speaking of? For this, you got to go back to the beginning, all right? But this is talking about Esau, Edom, all right? And that was the blessing given to him, the sword, all right? But it said power was given to him to take peace from the earth. And that's exactly what he has done. All right, we're going to play a series of videos here in just a moment after I grab this next set of scriptures. All right. For this, again, we're going to the beginning, Genesis chapter 27, round about I'll begin at verse 38. All right. It says, in Esau is the twin brother of Jacob, born to Isaac in the Holy Scriptures in the beginning. Okay. And Isaac has blessed Jacob, and Esau is now coming in after Isaac has, blessed Jacob. All right. Now read up on this for yourself, but we're getting this specifically speaking to Revelation 6 and 4. All right. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. All right. He started crying. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40. Here's the point. And by your sword, shall you live. Right. All right. Revelation 6 and 4. It was given to him a great sword. This blessing came from Isaac. Now, if you are well studied, you will understand that the same spirit that dwells in Isaac dwells in Yahushua. All right. That's why this blessing is so powerful. All right. And even in these last seconds of these last days, Esau is showing his strength when it comes to the sword. All right. That's why he went into Venezuela. That's why they're about to mobilize on the U.S. citizens for protesting. Without further delay, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the snippets and then come back with the rest of the scriptures.
Minnesota protest continues more than a week after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good. This coming as the Justice Department launches investigations into Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, exploring whether they interfered with federal immigration operations. CBS News' Ian Lee takes us there and has the latest details.
In Minneapolis on Saturday, anti-ICE protesters faced off against those who support the agency. The latest clashes in a city on edge. This comes as the Department of Justice has launched an investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, exploring whether they impeded federal immigration enforcement through public statements they've made. Frey spoke out against ICE last week after Minnesota resident Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent while driving her SUV down a snowy Minneapolis street.
To ICE, get the Minneapolis.
On Wednesday, concerned about the growing clashes between protesters and ICE agents, Walz appealed to Donald Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to pull ICE agents from his state.
So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough.
In response to mounting tensions here on the streets of Minneapolis, pitting ICE agents against protesters, President Trump said he has not ruled out invoking the Insurrection Act.
And if I needed it, I'd use it. I don't think there's any reason right now to use it. But if I needed it, I'd use it. It's very powerful.
Thousands marched in Denmark to protest President Trump's threats to take over Greenland. Hands off Greenland demonstrations also erupted in Greenland's capital. The movement comes as Trump continues to push the idea that the U.S. needs to take over the Arctic island. The president says the U.S. needs Greenland for national security purposes. Protesters say Greenland is not for sale.
The latest on anti-government protests in Iran in the face of a violent crackdown that's killed, according to activists, more than 3,000 people. ABC News chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is joining us from the region with more. Ian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Whit. After 3 weeks of turmoil in Iran, it does appear that the protests have been crushed. A brutal and bloody crackdown, leaving thousands dead and arrested. Despite President Trump promising help is on the way, he's now thanking the regime and appearing to back away from military action, posting, "I greatly respect the fact that all scheduled hangings which were to take place yesterday, over 800 of them, have been cancelled by the leadership of Iran." Now, it's not possible to verify his claims, and despite President Trump's words of respect towards Iran, this morning, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei slamming President Trump on X, saying he's the main culprit for the killings, writing, "We find the US president guilty due to the casualties, damages and slander he inflicted upon the Iranian nation." And in a sign that the crisis may not have entirely passed, the Pentagon expected to send more military assets to the Middle East, possibly including the USS Lincoln carrier strike group, seen here steaming towards the region.
All right. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. All right. And the righteous in the world that are going to be in the rulership of Yahweh Shai when he comes to take over his kingdom are the Israelites. All right. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, as well as you confusion of faces. All right. And when we are in authority, the world will rejoice. Okay. But what does it say? It says, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Right. And the people right now, as you can tell, are mourning. You got other riots going on as well and protests as well all around the world. In India, upset about the Americans going in and removing Maduro. All right. That's a sentiment of the world right now. And no matter what, it's going to continue to escalate. All right. Because the wicked are in authority, as Job 9:24 tells you. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. All right. And the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man that rules in the world today. Now, the continual complaining, and you can look up on YouTube all the years back, but for the last 10 years, all you've been seeing is protests after protests, riot after riot, right? And it's all around the world. It's engulfing. Why is this occurring? All right. This is 2 Ezra chapter 9, and we'll end out here. It says, he answered me then and said, measure you the time diligently in itself. And when you see part of the signs pass, which I have told you before, then shall you understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So there will be signs, indicators, tokens to the visitation of the Lord, all right, the timing of it by those indications. And some of those indications are explained right here, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? Complaining, protests, rioting. Verse 4, then shall you understand, that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before you, even from the beginning. All right. Now, this was foretold from the very beginning, how the movie would end, so to speak. All right. How the takeover would happen. We're at the end of the world, and we understand this by these signs and tokens given to us by Yahushua through the scriptures, man, opening the understandings of the apostles and passing it down through his men. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Yes, people, we are at the end of days. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, and every one that shall be saved, all right, at the end of this world, and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from said perils and shall see my salvation in my land. So the Israelites are going to have faith with works. Faith without works is dead. All right. The combination unlocked salvation, and they shall see it in the land. All right. This is the Lord's elect. And it's not a skin color thing, because Israel has been scattered in the four corners of the earth. All right. Throughout every nation. But those who are repenting and believe in their true power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, those are going to receive salvation from the punishment that comes at the end of days, such as the MOT to the B, such as the internment camps, Jacob's trouble, the third world's woe, the hour of temptation. To receive salvation from all of these different obstacles that are going to occur, okay, to keep you from receiving salvation on the first go-round. Either way, I digress. Verse 9 again. Then shall they be in pitiful case. Salakia, verse 9 for the first time. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet a place of repentance was open unto them, understood it not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. All right. All of these signs pointing to the end of days points to death by pain. All right. And if you're not getting it together by now, if all of the signs are not pointing to you repenting and fully turning on to the Lord and believing in his salvation, faith with works, you're going to know death by pain. All right. Hopefully this has been edifying. Shalom.